probably need that shit too. Okay, do we have to run down all of this? I mean, is this the same son that he solicited sex for?
Could be
problematic. And now, what is he? 18,
allegedly
old enough to know better. But with a father figure like Boosie, he don't. Welcome back to Nightmare Radio Show. It's your girl, Brittany Kristen.
And it's your girl, Ish. Welcome to episode 83 of Nightmare Radio. We almost at 100.
Yeah, we just moving down.
We coming on up to the huncho.
And speaking of the huncho, this week we launched at number 95 on the list.
Period.
We ended off the week at number 101 on the Apple Podcast Top Entertainment News Podcast. Give yourself a round of applause, Queen.
Twerk a little song. Hey, you know that little TikTok
yes.
But we can't do it.
Right. Nuh-uh.
We can't
anyway,
do that.
keep it cute.
Anyway, shout out to us. So we're going to celebrate today with a glass of her Wiggity Wine.
Yes.
This show is sponsored by Her Wine. You can go visit herwines.com and use our code Don't Sleep for 15% off of your purchase.
Yes.
This month's wine is Mama Needs a Break, but since we are celebrating Women's Month all month long, we got some girls' night in. Yes. We got some girls pulling up to the studio today for the show, so you guys don't want to miss
a jam-packed show.
This show about to be lit. You ready?
I'm really excited about today.
Me too.
Let's hop right into it. Without further ado,
we're going straight into the culture list. We about to dissect the wins and L's for the culture this week. All right, starting with Will Smith.
First one up on the culture list. Round of applause for Will Smith. This black king has really, 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 really outdone himself, and it's only March. So November, you know, we all watched his portrayal as Richard Williams, Serena and Venus Williams' dad in King Richard, the biopic that his production company produced and he starred in. Well, Will Smith has cleaned up. So in addition to him riding the wave of, you know, the new launch of Bel-Air on Peacock.
Right.
The award season has just been King Richard. He won a SAG, he won a Golden Globe Award, and then within 24 hours of each other, he won the BAFTA, which is the British Actors Film, you know, Talent, whatever. It's like a very prestigious award across the pond, and the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor. So with that being said, 4 awards within the top of the year, you already know the Oscar is his.
Yeah, he deserves.
He definitely deserves.
He deserves. He did the damn thing on King Richard.
Absolutely.
I love the movie. The message was there. It was received.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. And also shout out to him for looking out for his castmate and all of the other female castmates that were on the cast.
That's right.
He was able to give them more money than they were
originally
pitched. Yes. So,
right.
you know, even this month and this quarter, I've been reading, you know, that We Should All Be Millionaires. Women always pitch lower than what's in the actual budget for what they should be paid for.
And it's not necessarily that we pitch lower, but we usually receive lower, you know, regardless of the pitch.
True.
Yeah. So Ingenue Ellis, who portrays his wife in the movie, actually had a conversation with him because, you know, Warner Brothers originally paid out all of the actors and actresses. This was basically a largely female, you know,
cast, exactly.
Cast. And she basically wrote an open letter to Will Smith, not only for herself, but you know, for everyone else, saying, you know what, we should have been paid more for this, especially given the appraise that it's receiving. And so Will Smith said, you know what, you're right. And he gave that money out of his own pocket.
He got it.
I mean, he does have it.
He
Will
got
Smith,
it.
Slide me a few dollars, you know.
Come on and,
you can bless us.
Give us a grant that you don't want back.
Exactly. Anywho, so again, kudos to Will Smith and to the entire cast of King Richard. May award season be plentiful and prosperous for you all, okay?
Yes, I agree. Okay, let's get right next into the get right into the next one. 50 Cent is on y'all ass, and y'all know when he gets started, the nigga don't stop.
At least he's
the man
using his
don't
power
stop.
for good this time.
He is using his power.
Because he a troll.
He is a troll, and hopefully he trolls them, because Monique has been trying to put the message out there that Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, those Hollywood directors have basically been blackballing her. So finally, 50 Cent is using his influence, right, to call out Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, to tell them to finally apologize to Monique, because he's about to basically put her on.
And I mean, I think it's well deserved. Monique is a great actress.
Monique is definitely a great actress. She has an Oscar as
she
well.
won supporting best actress for her role in
Precious.
Right.
I love me a good Precious, baby. I love Precious. She did the damn thing. But Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry were executive producers on that film, and they said that Monique was hard to work with. She disgraced the film, or she was just a disgrace to work with.
Well, they said that after the film was released, that she refused to do the media run for free, that she felt as if she should have been compensated. And it had also been said that her and her husband, who was her manager, was also extremely overly vocal, in negotiation process. So,
you know what? It's some real murky waters with this media stuff. And I think all of our media constituents need to come together and have like a round table
State
discussion
of the media address
on what is the correct protocol on how to get media, how to receive media, and how to exchange for a fee.
Yeah,
because
the compensation is key, especially for Black media.
The compensation is key, but now people are wanting to charge platforms to come onto their platform. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. We putting y'all into the tea, and we ain't got time.
Pay your invoice.
Pay the invoice. Boo. Moving on. Mike Tyson releases his ear-shaped weed gummy.
Yes. Did you know that Mike Tyson had a cannabis brand to begin with?
I think I did, because he smokes a lot of weed on his podcast.
Yeah. Well, the name of the brand is called Tyson 2.0, and he announced this week the launch of the Mike Bites, in reference to the infamous 1997 fight between him and Evander Holyfield. So if you notice, the gummies actually have a bit of the cartilage at the top of the ear.
You know what?
Which is exactly where this man bit that man's ear off.
I ain't see that shit.
You see it?
I see it now.
Okay. He's foolish for this. And if I was Evander Holyfield, I'd be like, baby, you're going to have to give me a check. They've since made acquaintances. There's no bad blood. This is 25 years later, or 24 years later, so there's no bad blood. But I mean, Evander Holyfield, go ahead and get your check.
Get your check.
If you want the Mike Bites, they're available in Nevada. That's actually where Tyson lives, and they're also going to be available in California within the next 2 weeks. And then from there, they're going to be expanding out to other states that have created opportunity for THC enthusiasts to enjoy themselves. Okay,
that is crazy. Mike Tyson crazy as hell. All right,
he foolish for that one.
He definitely. It's the ear. It's the bite.
It's the details in that, like very specific.
That shit crazy. Okay, Ralph Lauren polo campaign for Spelman Morehouse.
This is really one for the culture. So last Tuesday, the HBCUs, college alumni, faculty, and students were featured in a national campaign for Ralph Lauren. The company launched a limited edition collection of collegiate apparel, including the wool blazers that were similar to the original blazers that the Morehouse men wore in the 1920s, 40s, 60s, 50s, dresses, sweatsuits, sweaters, collared shirts, and tees. This is monumental because this is the first time that the brand, the American fashion powerhouse brand, has ever used an all-black staff and cast to produce a campaign. So we're talking Black models, Black creative directors, we're talking Black photographers, Black cinematographers, and the real tea about all of this. You remember back in the day when people said Ralph Lauren polo is not for us because they don't want Black people to wear their stuff? Mm-hmm. Okay. I know that the generation below us was too young to remember that. So most recently, Ralph Lauren did not gain permission before using Phi Beta Sigma's Greek letters on some of their clothes. Mm-hmm. And I think they did the same thing with some paraphernalia related to Morehouse. They did not have any permission or anything like that. And so to correct their wrongs and to really embed themselves in the culture, this campaign is really significant of telling the American story. And they understand and realize that the American story is incomplete without people that look like us, because we built this.
That's somewhat true. So the person who created this whole thing, his name is James Jeter, and he is a 2013 graduate of Morehouse. And when all of the 2020 things that was going on with George Floyd was happening, you know, all of these corporate companies were having these conversations about a sense of belonging and how can we do this and can we do that. So James, he is like a senior creative designer or something like that, but he ultimately had the conversation with Ralph Lauren himself and told him that he doesn't feel like he belongs at the company. And Ralph Lauren in turn told him, you do have a place for longevity here at this company. So in turn, that James Jeter, the win is for you, baby.
Okay.
You created this opportunity for Morehouse to give back to Morehouse Spelman, to honor the Ivy League dress, to show that yes, the people did dress like this on the Ivy League campuses of Harvard. However, this is what we did as well.
That's
so
beautiful.
This is what came of it. Shout out to Joya Baines.
Hey girl.
Stevenson graduate. Y'all know Stevenson always doing big things. Shout out to you. My mama loved her since we was in elementary school, child. I had to call her and say Joya is on the polo campaign.
All over the United States.
Over the United States. But shout out to James Jeter though. He is the real win because he is giving back to his HBCUs. Really, Morehouse, Spelman, they both go together.
Yeah.
Right? So he's giving back to his HBCUs. Now, to the people out there that's like, oh, y'all always giving back to Morehouse and Spelman. Morehouse and Spelman. I'm loud. I'm sorry, but I got to say this now. I got to say this. Y'all need to get back to your own HBCUs.
Oh.
Nobody's going to get back to your HBCU until you do.
Ooh.
Y'all got alumni at the graduation. You have a whole saying that says that you are committed to donate back to your HBCU. How many of y'all donated $25, $100 to your HBCU?
I'm looking for an HBCU to adopt.
If you're not donating to your HBCU, then you need to shush.
Because Georgia Southern is getting my money for sure. And I'm proud of my PWI, but I'm also looking for an HBCU to adopt. So when I make it,
But you said
North Carolina A&T. I'm waiting on my honorary doctorate.
You also said Norfolk as well.
Norfolk State, my mother's alma mater, absolutely.
So you got options.
I do have options. All love for the HBCUs. Also, bringing it back, I know we're speaking of HBCUs, but we are definitely going to keep a lookout for the accompanying film, which drops March 29th, A Portrait of the American Dream, and the digital yearbook that will continue the images from this campaign as well.
Yes. So shout out to you, James Jeter. You did that.
For sure.
Okay, moving into HBCUs, right?
Speaking of these HBCUs, Jackson State University is being sued over their plans to exit the Southern Heritage Classic game. And this is kind of bittersweet because, as a person that really enjoys college football, especially on the HBCU side, this bowl game is really like one that's well renowned. But the organizer of the Southern Heritage Classic game is suing Jackson State for trying to quit the football game 2 years before the contract is up. Now, Coach Deion Sanders is basically saying that the payoff for the football team's participation in this game is really just not enough, given the amount of money that's required to travel to send the boys up there, to send the band, to send all the auxiliary, to send a few faculty members and staff, to feed them, to house them. It doesn't equate, what it's supposed to give. And there's other opportunities on the table since we have now this surge in prominent Black former athletes returning back to HBCUs. There's other opportunities on the table that can be more money for the schools like Jackson State. So
I got a message for Deion Sanders. Hey Deion, how you doing? I hope your toes healing well, because you did have your toes amputated the other day.
And your son talked about you.
And your son talked about you. So the Southern Heritage Classic happens in Memphis. It's been going on. It's been happening. This is not. I don't come into the HBCU trying to change shit, like enhance it. Right? I understand that there's more opportunities out there for the college graduates. Take them, but keep this one. And I'm gonna tell you why in 2 points. Number one, before Dolph was killed, he went and visited Jackson State. In their locker room. They're renaming Jackson State's tunnel Paper Route Tunnel.
Oh, in honor of
young Dolph.
That's beautiful. I didn't know that.
That's beautiful. But that's just like we want change for Black Lives Matter, and they go put Black Lives Matter on the concrete. What they do? Okay. So if the Southern Heritage Classic is in Memphis to honor Dolph, you should keep the classic in Memphis. Why would you want to take it out?
Well, it's not that they want to take it out. They just don't want to participate in it.
No. That defeats the point. That those two schools bring a lot of money to Memphis during that weekend for small Black-owned businesses. So it's not really about what it's not doing for the school, but think about the impact that you can do
in the community
that supported Dolph, that you are still trying to support.
That's a really great point.
So
let's make sure we get that message to Coach Sanders.
I'm gonna tag you.
Yes, tag his son, because since his son got
the juice, literally, because he got that thing with Gatorade.
That's right.
So
he got the juice. So get well too.
Get well and keep it in. Keep it in.
Keep
Two more years. Figure it out. But still, okay. Boosie, child, put your pussy lips on live. I give you $1,000.
Cancel this man.
It's something about the pussy lips for Boosie.
Oh, you keep saying it too. Don't say it again.
Put the P lips on live.
Okay.
So Boosie is defending his son using a magnifying glass to examine women's genitalia. So Boosie has gone bad. That's the name of his new program that he's doing exclusively on his website. Instagram keeps shutting his ass down. He can't keep a new page. And now he's like, anybody can see this. I'm going wild. It's going exclusive. While trying to have a real life moment on live, like what's going on, tapping in, we find that Boosie's son has a magnifying glass examining the genitalias of the strippers. And
tag me in when you're ready, cuz
he has a clip that he said about it.
Just woke up to the shenanigans. Talking about me and my son. See, what they do is y'all flip the narrative and always try to make it fucked up. But if an 18-year-old man looking at some pussy is wrong, what is right for him to look at? An 18-year-old man looking at, if this is so wrong, him looking at some cat, what is it right for him to look at?
Okay, now, how you feel about it?
Cancel this man. Boosie, you are a predator, and you are breeding and train. Like, how many times do we have to have a conversation about the same shit? This nigga needs counseling. You need therapy, and you need to step away from the internet. And your kids probably need that shit too. Okay, do we have to run down all of this? I mean, is this the same son that he solicited sex for?
Could be
problematic. And now, what is he? 18?
Allegedly,
old enough to know better. But with a father figure like Boosie, he don't. That's not okay.
It's not okay. I think what Boosie is trying to do is ultimately stop his children from being gay.
So so we can't. That's a whole different conversation.
It's a whole nother rabbit hole.
And I know we can't touch on it all, but parents, you cannot rule or dictate your child's life because it's theirs. And if they have a choice about their sexuality, you don't have to support that. You still gotta love them. And I mean, that's even subjective depending on how you were raised. But all of these things are problematic. And instead of trying to make your son not gay, you're literally raising a pedophile. You're raising a pervert. This shit is not okay. Boosie, you're not okay. Your children need help. You need help. This is not okay. This is when I have a problem with separating the artist, from the person from his artistry. If you want to call Boosie's career, a form of artistry, which is okay. Boosie got problems. Keep this nigga off the internet and pray for these kids and put these kids in therapy. And you know what? I ain't even gonna call his daughter out.
Don't do it. Leave it right there.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
Because we not talking about kids. We talking about what he's doing to raise the children.
So it's the problem with the homophobia thing.
It's the homophobia for him.
What are we afraid of?
That his children are gonna grow up to be homophobic.
And why is, I know this is a larger conversation.
It goes deeper, and I feel like it's time to have this conversation. We probably would need to do this with a couple therapists, experts in the room before we say some things that we don't have no business saying.
You're right.
Okay? Because I like to tread lightly on this homophobia conversation because I got some LMNOP friends. I fuck with y'all.
Say element.
I fuck with y'all the long way, and I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I feel like Boosie is in a hard spot with just as our generation is with raising boys in this society of LGBTQ, all in people's face. And
instead of worrying about raising boys that may be somewhere on the sexual spectrum, we should be worried more about raising children that are cognitive am emotionally and mentally mature enough to be able to differentiate between inappropriate behavior that can cause problems later. So while he's trying to defend himself in this homophobic shit that he got going on, he is potentially raising a whole generation of people that can cause more damage.
That can be more homophobic.
And cause
that could
problems.
Be predators. That could be rapists. That could be unlocking a whole lot of shit.
So where are our priorities lying? Would you rather have your son be gay, or would you rather have your son grow up to be a rapist, a molester, a predator? What are we choosing? Because that's literally, please, if you're listening and you are a therapist, you can really
or
speak
anyone
well
with
to
insight,
this topic.
yeah.
We welcome you onto our platform because we want to use this platform to educate, and to spread the good word. And I feel like I be getting upset and mad, you know what I'm saying, as an ally, but also as a person that does not want to perpetuate the type of culture that we're trying our hardest to work our way out of. I mean, God bless the situation with Dwight Howard and Royce Reed's son.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a whole nother situation.
Exactly.
Because he is in turn got his mom in trouble because he's doing too much sexually with younger boys
and girls and see,
and we don't know what that child has been exposed to even get to that part.
That's the thing, though. See, that was such a tough one. See,
we didn't even put that on here because
the documentation from Royce's son's therapy sessions have been released, and I think that is
that's fucked
disgusting.
up.
I think that's wrong.
They should have kept that
because
private.
He is a minor.
Yeah,
but we now know that it's public information that he was in therapy for molesting a young girl, and through the therapy notes that have been released, we understand and learn his triggers, and we also learn about his own background. He was
molested.
He had also experienced sexual trauma, and so we know that a trigger for him is like anger and inability to control things around him. And so, due to the restraints followed by his his misconduct with that girl, a part of his restraints were to one, do therapy, and two, be banned from interacting with any other minor.
Right.
Just imagine how difficult that can be for a 13-year-old minor that he can't even go to school.
That's crazy.
So inside the house, anything goes, I guess, as far as parents go. And so Royce's boyfriend's 2 young children had still been around him. And we all know what else happened after that. So prayers for all of that, healing for all of that. Protect your children and don't be like Boosie. Next.
Moving on. And speaking of protecting children, where was the children when Joseline and Ballistic was whooping bitches' ass at the Joselines Cabaret Season 3 reunion? Where was Bonnie?
Doing it like it's her birthday.
Okay, baby.
The Puerto Rican princess and her fiance are allegedly being sued for beating up a cast member during the show's reunion episode taping. Amber Ali went live on IG claiming that she was attacked by Joseline and her fiance. While laying in hospital bed, she showed her viewers her bruised ribs. She went into detail about how Ballistic Beats pulled out her hair. I don't know why we're surprised.
I don't know why we are either. We not surprised.
We're not surprised at all.
We knew it was gonna happen. We know Joseline.
Exactly. And she went on Twitter and
basically doubled down and said, I did it.
Bitches, I did this and I did that. And it's nothing. First off, you're a mother.
You're a woman.
You are a woman. We are in Women's Month. We're talking all things empowerment and girls.
And the show, from what Zeus said, is supposed to be about empowering women.
In what way? It's not.
I haven't seen the show, so I can't really give much context or insight on how I feel about it.
Maybe we should address what does empowerment mean.
In summation, what's empowerment?
You tell me.
I mean,
because
I feel like empowerment,
different things. You can be empowered to beat somebody's ass, or you can be empowered to spread the good word. So I guess it really is in the eye of the beholder.
Is it?
I mean, you can be motivated to do good or bad.
Okay.
But we know. I wonder who are the executive producers of
That's a good question.
Joselines Cabaret.
But you know what? Zeus just got a whole lot of. Zeus is like VH1 2.5.
Yes, like the VH1 in 2020, 2017, 2007.
The 2010s, the 15s.
Yeah.
It's the 15s. It's the 13s. It's like Love and Hip Hop. Everything that Love and Hip Hop was times 50 is on Zeus, because what the hell is the Bad Boys Club?
And girl, Kirk Franklin's son on there.
The nerve.
And he telling all his daddy business.
The nerve.
And Mr. I'm not gay no more, I'm delivered.
The nerve.
You know what the media said? They were like, "Where is Roland Ray?" But I'm glad that he's not on there because they would flip.
Roland Ray
out his
had
chair.
COVID and
I
he
know.
hasn't been seen since. So prayers up to him.
Right, exactly. But either way. I know we talk about representation, and I'm sure the gays would like to have their time in the spotlight on the reality TV sector. But I mean, is this how y'all want to be portrayed?
This is a mess, and I'm sure all of them don't want to be portrayed like this.
In summation, shows like this are detrimental to the culture. We have to be extremely careful. We are the gatekeepers when it comes to determining what we allow or what we support or what we view as entertainment, because we have to remember, while we getting our kikis off, it's people that don't look like us that are also getting their kikis off, and they have created this expectation of who we are based on this type of shit.
Exactly.
So when you walk into these streets and these Karens are, just like we talked about last week, these Karens are automatically vilifying us and creating and applying all these stereotypes to us, just remember, this is a part of how they get the proof. So we got to stop giving them the content. We have to stop giving them a reason to treat us like this shit. Come on, y'all. This is simple.
It is very simple. Last story, and we're going to end it. Okay. 31-year-old woman killed outside of Atlanta bowling alley, Metro Fund Center off of Metropolitan. Allegedly, argument broke out over a bowling ball. When the argument was over, the suspect left the venue, waited outside for 20 minutes, and ultimately killed the young lady who he was arguing with. With the world being so small, right? Because Atlanta is small. And I was just wondering, like, who was the person that got killed? I'm wondering, somebody knows who this was. For it to be Young Thug's baby mom, that hurt my heart because, number one, people are trying to elevate themselves. They're trying to take themselves out the hood. Only God knows what kind of demons Thug is battling right now, because he don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. Number one, God bless him. Number two, God bless his son, his 14-year-old son.
Oh yeah,
14. This ain't little baby. This is 14.
And he's able to see all of what is being talked about right now. God, ooh, you know who this reminds me of, and we should reach out, you know.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about.
I don't, but we will talk about this, and we'll connect on that later. But I said this to say that y'all niggas is falling into this no gun, no license to carry trap. They passed it. You don't need a license to carry.
Don't give them a reason.
Don't give them a reason to lock your ass up for over a bowling ball, really? Seriously?
Think about beyond this instance in this moment.
You done took a mother away from their child because you had a bowling ball, or she had a bowling ball that you had, or whatever the fuck happened. Yeah. That's stupid.
So again, we send our thoughts, prayers, and condolences to Young Thug and his family, Lakevia's family, and anyone else that is attached to this tragedy. And I pray for my city, my people, the nation, the culture. We got to do better, y'all. Yeah. Anyway, coming up next, the U.S. government is throwing checks at all the wrong things in all the wrong places. Plus, we're going to discuss the qualifying contenders for Georgia's gubernatorial and senator race. Up next, keep it locked, but we're about to get into this mix.
Yes, we're about to get into this mix. Shout out to all of the independent ladies in the mix. If you want to be in the mix, send your music, all right? www.nightmareradioshow.com, and we will select you if you file. If not, we'll get to you later. But keep it locked. We'll be right back.